So before the video begins, I just want to let you guys know that I've kind of lost my voice, so when I'm recording this audio, it's probably going to sound like garbage, but honestly, I just really want to get this video out by Halloween because of the fact that it deals with stuff that scared me, and Halloween is scary, and I like theming. So you know what? Life stops for no one. Let's get this video started. It's Halloween times! What better way to celebrate than with some good old-fashioned childhood trauma? Jokes aside, I'm sure everyone watches a scene or an episode of a TV show that freaks you out so bad that you stop watching the show, right? Or am I just an emotional baby? I have 3 very specific memories of shows having scenes that scared the daylights out of me as a kid so bad I stopped watching said shows for a bit. As I am now an adult and making videos about these scenes, you'd be right to assume I overcame those fears. And even though I may get made fun of for a couple of the things on this list, I figured this would be a fun video topic and one perfectly suited to Spoopy Month. So, without further ado, time to get into my dark past. The first show we're going to talk about is Code Lyoko. If you've watched my every Code Lyoko episode in 10 words or less video, you'll know that I mentioned the episode Ghost Channel scared me so bad I never wanted to watch Code Lyoko again. Code Lyoko's first season is an attack of the week format show in which Xana activates the tower, attacks the real world, the kids go to Lyoko, assist Aelita in getting to the activated tower, she deactivates it, they return to the past, and everything returns back to normal at the end of the episode. However, Ghost Channel is not your typical Xana attacks the real world episode. In this episode, after a typical Lyoko mission is successful, we return to the past only to learn that Ulrich, Odd, and Yumi aren't in the real world and seem to be in an alternate reality where things are glitching constantly. We follow Jeremy as he attempts to figure out what happened and where his friends might be. It turns out that Xana trapped Ulrich, Odd, and Yumi in a simulation bubble, a simulation of a real world. And with this one modeled after the school, it makes the 3 believe they made it back to the real world when really they're trapped in a world created by Xana and are completely at its mercy. What's unnerving is that Xana has its own version of Jeremy in place of the real one, who's watching over the world via a laptop. The episode even acknowledges this as Jeremy points out he's in the real world and there's another Jeremy in the simulation bubble. Upon this revelation, Jeremy goes into the simulation bubble in order to rescue his friends, where he is immediately found and chased by Zombie Jim, who is later joined by Zombie Nicholas and Herb. Meanwhile, Xana is making its move to get rid of the other Lyoko warriors, trying to get them into the scanners, thus permanently getting rid of them. Thankfully for the crew, the real Jeremy shows up and warns them of Xana's plans. The 2 Jeremys then argue about who's the real one, while the group ponders who to believe. They eventually figure out which Jeremy is the real one, as Xana Jeremy says Jeremy would be too scared to enter Lyoko, while the others know that he would go if they were in danger, as Jeremy's care for his friends outweighs his fears. After it's found out, the part that scars me occurs, as Xana Jeremy becomes a literal demon and starts legit trying to kill the crew. It brings the zombies out to strangle Yumi, Odd, and Ulrich, while it uses computer cables to strangle Jeremy. Thankfully, Aelita is able to locate the simulation bubble in the ice sector and uses her powers to destroy it, freeing the gang and sending Jeremy back to the real world. The episode ends with the Lyoko crew fighting off a huge horde of blocks left in the crater of the simulation bubble. So my memories are a bit fuzzy, but I think I saw this scene in the Code Lyoko DS game before I saw it on TV. My brother had the game and I watched him play the game before watching the scene, and that scene really scared me. Then I saw it again on TV, and that convinced me to never watch Code Lyoko again. I did actually get nightmares about the scene, mainly of Xana possessing people at my school and chasing me. In May of 2020, I was bored as one was in quarantine due to the dreaded beer virus, and with Code Lyoko resurfacing in my brain, I decided to rewatch the show. I was nervous getting to Ghost Channel, but I swallowed my fears and watched it. Now it's my favorite episode, as it's a unique take on the typical Code Lyoko formula, with an overarching mystery to solve, and a constant sense of unease on both the viewers and the characters. I can see why I got scared from this episode, but I'm also really glad I overcame those fears and rewatched it. The second show we're going to talk about is Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. You know, the Yu-Gi-Oh! That took our favorite complicated children's card game on their motorcycles. Okay, memes aside though, it's probably the darkest Yu-Gi-Oh! Show we've ever gotten, and it's not surprising that out of all the Yu-Gi-Ohs I've watched, it's this one that ended up scarring me. Now, I was in 3rd grade when I was watching the English dub of 5Ds when weekly episodes would drop on demand. Side note, I really hope I don't have to explain what on demand is, otherwise I'm gonna feel really old. Now, I started watching 5Ds from the end of the Fortune Cup into the Darksiders arc. At the same time, I had bought the video game Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds Duel Transfer, an alternate story taking place during the Darksiders arc of the show, and in the intro sequence, it shows off the Darksiders. One weirdly looks like Carly Carmine, a girl I had just been introduced to in the show. but I ignored that spoiler as I watched the show and I didn't see it coming. I know, I beak stupid. Now in episode 37 of 5Ds, Carly infiltrates the Arcadian movement, aka the headquarters of the psychic cult, and she ends up getting caught by Divine, or Sayer in the dub. As per Yu-Gi-Oh tradition, she gets a chance to duel her way to freedom. But being a non-duelist, she gets her butt kicked right out the window of a 50-foot tall building. This isn't the part that scarred me. I was watching the dub, so she wasn't falling to her death, just to do a purple mist. Thanks, poor kids. It was episode 38 that scared me, as here, Carly is revived as a Dark Signer and immediately goes on a revenge quest to kill Divine. And it was seeing her become a Dark Signer and become so vicious that scared me out of 5Ds for a while. Or maybe it was the blackening of her eyes, as Dark Signers have the whites in their eyes turn black, and Carly has the biggest eyes out of all the Dark Signers. I ended up skipping episode 39 because I was so afraid, and going straight to episode 40. But I stopped watching 5Ds after the Leo and Luna vs. DVAC duel, so I never finished the Dark Signers arc as a kid. But Dark Signer Carly scared me so bad that I became afraid of the dark and had to sleep with a nightlight for years. The fact that I was so frightened by Dark Signer Carly may surprise a lot of you since I dedicated a Pride Month video to analyze her. And that video and this video must tell you that I overcame those fears. And I did. I was in 7th grade when I really started getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And was watching the dubs of all the shows, even finishing all of GX and 5Ds dubbed. This was also how I discovered the magical world of wikis! For the wikis, I started reading up on all the stuff related to the Dark Signers arc, like Carly, the episodes I missed, and the censorship of said episodes. Despite the nerves, I rewatched episode 38 of 5Ds dubbed and wasn't actually afraid anymore. I even watched episode 39 and saw the conclusion of the duel, followed by the rest of the arc, including Carly and Jack's duel, which is one of my favorite duels in the show. Then I got really into Carly's character arc, and ended up watching only her duels in the original Japanese version. You know, the version where Carly fell to her death, then killed the man responsible. Yeah, that was the right steps to take, kids me, good job. My childhood fear turned hyperfixation on Carly's Dark Signer path is probably why she's my favorite Dark Signer, but all that focus I put on her arc made it easier to analyze her for Pride Month. And I meant everything I said in the video, not letting my bias blind me. And if you're wondering if I'm still afraid of the dark, now, the final show that scarred me as a kid is a bit embarrassing, and you guys are not allowed to make fun of me in the comments. You can judge me though, that is allowed. Are you ready? It's Lego Ninjago. Yes, I know. The show about Lego ninjas that can shoot elements and turn into tornadoes made 5th grade me scared out of watching the show for the longest time. You can laugh at me, it's fine. I'm fine. The episode Return of the Overlord was the main offender, but the trailer I saw for the next episode, Rise of the Spinjitzu Master, was what pushed my fear over the edge. That's right, I copped out of watching the season 2 finale, aka the series finale at the time because we didn't know that Ninjago was going to be rebooted. So what scared me out of watching Ninjago? Well, in the episode in question, the Stone Army had captured Nia, aka the only girl character in the show at the time, and Garmadon decided to test the dark matter on her before using it in his ultimate weapon. Dark matter in Ninjago can turn anything it touches evil. Even the purest heart can turn as black as night. So Nia becomes evil. That's not scary, right? Well, the design choice for people under the influence of dark matter is to have all the color drained out of them, leaving their skin gray, and their eyes to be a glowing purple, with no sparkle that Lego eyes normally have. That creeped me out, seeing one of our beloved main characters look so deranged and overall terrifying. That's not even including the metamorphosis the Overlord made Garmadon go through. That was also messed up looking and nightmare-inducing. You know, for kids! Despite this and seeing the ultimate weapon fired and other people get the same treatment, I was still gonna watch the final episode. But as I was watching Cartoon Network later that week, a trailer came out for the final episode, and I saw a scene of Cole getting corrupted by the dark matter. And seeing Cole corrupted by the dark matter freaked me out, sending my fear meter into overdrive. And so I never watched the season 2 finale. Now, if you thought my fear of the dark was bad from the Dark Signer Carly situation, this just added fuel to that purple colored fire and made it worse. And yet, despite all of that, I actually did watch season 3. I watched the first 6 episodes of Rebooted and only didn't finish that season because of the terrible US release schedule for that season. Seriously, 2 new episodes every 3 months is about as dog shit as you can get for a cartoon on TV. This was before the days of Netflix where everything drops at once, or you could wait for an indie animation show for 2 months because they were animating by the episode. And with that, I fell out of love with Ninjago. And my fear of that season 2 finale led me to make fun of one of my best friends later for expressing love for the show. Something I deeply regret and later apologized for. We're still friends, by the way, and I even watched Crystallize, which was the final season of the original show, at her house. So shout out to Rachel, I know she watches my videos. Thank you for sticking by me all these years. I eventually got back into Ninjago after seeing multiple videos analyzing recent stuff, and I was way behind at this point. Hadn't seen a season since season 3, only had a vague sense of stuff due to the Ninjago wiki, and all of a sudden Nia is a water spirit? What the fuck happened to the final battle plot? Does that even matter anymore? I ended up watching the entire series, including the ending of season 2. I still feel uneasy seeing the people corrupted by dark matter, but I did get over those fears enough to watch the original finale of the show, and proceed forward to better storylines. Yeah, I shot my shot. So that's my experience with shows scaring me out of watching them for a while. I'm very much expected to be made fun of in the comments, but I figured talking about things that scared me as a kid would be a fun video topic, and one befitting of Spoopy Mom. And now that my childhood fears have been plastered on the internet, I doubt they'll have any more grip on me. The only fears I have now are death and being an adult in this economy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. In the comment section below, let me know what shows scared you as a kid. This is Queen of Penguins saying peace out and happy Halloween!